The structure of this contract that we are going to be talking about tonight is called a power purchase agreement. And what a power purchase agreement is a public-private partnership between Avek and Somas FMG to develop the solar energy system. It is zero capital expenditure to Avek, and you agree to buy the power from Somas FMG at a fixed price that is set for 20 years. Some of the things this will do is guarantee your rates, so you'll know exactly what you're paying for electricity for the 20-year term of the contract. And then the next line that you can see the average cost per kilowatt hour without solar 1 year from now in 1164, that assumes that we are able to install the system and then that next year going up against 11.64 cents per kilowatt hour. We are assuming a 5% escalation of rates into the future. Our system size is 1.1 megawatts, so that's certainly a good amount of power from one site. The mounting type that you can see there would be single axis tracker systems. So it would be standard photovoltaic panels, the same panels that you've seen all across the valley, on a single axis tracker, meaning that in the morning it's tilted to the east, at noon it would be flat, and in the afternoon it would be tipped to the west. Our production would be just over 2.5 million kilowatt hours, providing for a 70% solar fraction at the site. We have specifically structured this so that we can maximize the savings at the district. 70% is a nice sweet spot to be able to maximize savings. Going at 100% solar fraction would reduce savings, and going below would also reduce savings. So what we do is we model year one savings and system size and go to the very top of that curve. The power purchase agreement terms, you can see it's zero capital cost. Our year one rate is 11.38 cents. Our escalator is 3.9%. The duration of the term is 20 years. And our savings projections, we project to save in years 1 through 5 cumulatively between $200,000 and $240,000. Over the 20-year term, we project to save $2.4 million for the district. This is a 12-month sample cash flow projection. What you can see in the blue here is your remaining Edison bill. That's that 30% that's left over. The red is your solar Somas FMG bill. And the green is what would happen if you had done no solar at all. That's the otherwise applicable tariff. When we see that there's roughly $40,000 a year in savings, that's not all coming evenly distributed throughout every month. It's loaded in the summertime. That's because of the way that the tariffs are structured for this particular meter. It's also because of the extra solar production during the summertime when the sun is higher in the sky.
Are you pulling the directors right now?
No. Director Lane asked me not to put this on the thing. It is not on here tonight. I would like to have it on the next schedule in this year to bring this up. And I'd like them, I just request that we take no action on this thing until we get another personnel meeting and come back.
It's done. It's done, Andy. It's
I'll tell you, if it's done, it's behind it, and it was wrong because it was not in there. We have not approved this.
As it would, and we authorized Dan to do that, you know, several months ago when the process was going on. And one thing about this board, we may not always agree, but the majority does rule. And sometimes we all don't. Maybe we'd like to see something a little different. But you know, once the board's acted, then the board is always accepted that as a whole.
95% of historical average for this date. San Luis is at 68% of historical average for this date. So even though they are being drawn down some, we're still in very good shape as far as reservoir storage. Hasn't been a lot. There has not been any change in allocation. We're still at 65%. That's just to kind of give you a closer view of where Shasta is, where Oroville is. So Shasta's still at 90%. You know, they're drawn down. Again, 63%, 65%. We're still in good shape for this historically for this time of year. San Luis, again, it's down quite a bit. You know, it's down 30%, but you exercise San Luis pretty heavily this time of year. So it's still at 68% Oroville storage. The blue line is the actual storage. The red line is the flood regulation. So again, we're drawing down Oroville, but in good shape. Now this is San Luis. You can see the bureaus just about completed their share. They're the light blue, where the state of California is the dark blue. This is what we'll be watching in the coming months, you know, as we start filling San Luis up again. I don't know if we've really actually reached the low point, but we're probably getting pretty close to the low point in San Luis.
What we offered is a combination of the surcharge and water rates. It's extra money in the water rate. You could cut your property taxes a little bit, use reserves, a combination of all those above, or retailer funded. Those are the combinations we sort of put together that could be offered to the group.
Go back on that bank what we're trying to, they're trying to do and why.
Well, the banking water is optional, obviously, the whole program. But how do we fund it?
Why does Avek want to do it?
Right, exactly. That's the point.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons why you would bank water in the Antelope Valley. One is for outage protection. You know, you're getting water from the Sacramento River, so if you have an outage on the state water project, you want to have water in the valley. So you would bank to do that. You would have drought protection. If the state water project said, well, this is a 20% year, it gives us some drought protection. And then also for water quality, because we're going to be looking at blending groundwater and surface water, and it helps us with some of the THM issues and so forth. So those are the reasons that we want to bring water into the valley to bank here, to firm up our supplies that may be unreliable for the state water project. So it's kind of an insurance policy, and each customer looks at their own situation and how much insurance or how they would approach this.
This is one way to protect ourselves. Now, a lot of options here. The bottom line is water banking is a form of insurance. When you look at it, that's all really what it is. Now, each retailer has their own specific needs. So what we thought, most insurance companies offer all kinds of insurance plans. You can buy them, you can have all kinds of plans. So maybe Avek could offer an alternative to provide as much flexibility as possible. The retailer would have the option to make a selection of what best meets their needs. Because obviously there's one size that's not going to fit all. Right now, we have basically two rates, treated and raw. What we're suggesting, you may wish to consider what we call a drought mitigation rate. What that would be, retailers selecting this rate would either be pay either the treated or raw water, whatever it is they're working on, plus a 3%, which we're suggesting, for banking. The funds received from the surcharge will be used to purchase state water projects or any other supply that's available. Now what can happen if a big chunk of water is available, the agency may have to cough up money out of reserves to buy that, because your cash flow coming in from sales may not match when you need to buy things. So there probably has to bank, somebody has to be an internal bank. Avek would maintain a record of each retailer's payments for the banked water.